The Avs have everyone fooled as they head into the next season absolutely primed to dominate the West and take home another Stanley Cup. The major pieces of this roster are set, and we are going to be taking a look at every single piece of it and just showing you how well it's set up, as well as showing you some work that needs to be done. But there are also some kids that are some sleepers on this roster that I really want to point out that could make a big impact for the Colorado Avalanche moving forward. What is up, Avs Nation? This is Avs Digest. You already know we are the most reliable, consistent source for all of your Avs news, always bringing you the new hot gossip, the new latest news that we can possibly inform you of. Absolutely love you guys. Welcome into this episode of Avs Digest. But before we get directly into it, just want to remind you guys to subscribe. It's free to do so, and you won't regret it. But let's kind of just get right into it. So the NHL released their projected lineup for the Colorado Avalanche. And really looking at this, it really gave me perspective and kind of just removed me from the panic state about, oh, why aren't the Avs making as much moves? And I look at this roster in general, both the defense, the goaltending, and the forward lines in general, and I say this really isn't so bad. We've got a lot of potential to make this good. It's not that bad in general. I mean, all the major pieces are set. You have your top six, you have your goaltending tandem, the woodshed, that's probably going to be one of the best tandems in the league. You have your defense set for now. I'd like some other changes, probably one more defenseman, but really, in general, you can ride this into the regular season. I hope there's at least one more move on offense as well. But let's just kind of break it down line by line. Obviously, for that first line, as of right now, you have MacKinnon, and Necas. No complaints with that first line. It's incredibly effective. Necas might not be here. We don't know. We could see his signing tomorrow, or we could see him get traded tomorrow. So it's still up in the air of what's happening with Marty Necas. But really, at the end of the day, it's out of our hands. Might as well just enjoy the ride. But if we look at this second line, this second line was actually one of the top 5 best lines in the playoffs in such a short sample size. Gabe Landeskog, Nelson, and Nichushkin are this great shutdown, forechecking monster of a line that also produces well and was not really getting scored on all that much. So you really love this second line, and you want to see just what it can do in a full season. You look at the forwards, and something interesting happens. Obviously, the biggest, most glaring hole is your left wing. Your left third line wing, to be exact. You see, you've got Jack Drury, a good third line center who I think can be a good third line center, and I'll show you exactly why. We'll take a look at his numbers. You've got Ross Colton, great third line right wing. And then you've got Vladimir Bardakov. That's basically the best I'm going to do with that name. He is also an incredibly intriguing prospect coming over from Russia, a guy acquired in the Curtis McDermott trade that was kind of just a throwaway. It was a 7th round pick thrown in there as well. But it actually seems like he might be a better forward option than Curtis McDermott. Obviously, you have other holes in Ivan, Matt Steinberg. Remember, Logan O'Connor is coming back sometime in December, more likely January. But in general, you like this forward roster. Yes, you have problems with the bottom 6, but I hate to tell you guys, the bottom 6 for most teams isn't going to be looking incredibly sexy until we get to the trade deadline. That's just kind of how it is. But in general, I think you can definitely make at least a better third line going forward. Let's actually talk about Vladimir Bardakov, though, because this guy is interesting. He obviously is very young, 24 years old, big guy, 210 pounds, 6'2". Basically, the recipe for what you do with 7-round picks, Jersey actually drafted him, is just draft the big Russian and see if it works out. And sometimes it actually does, especially in Russia. But if we actually look at his numbers and find him here, we can see that he was playing for SKA St. Petersburg. Very good Russian hockey team. And obviously in his first few seasons, forgettable guy. Nothing to really say at all. But you look at just this last season, 35 points in 53 games in the KHL, which is a league that isn't known for high producing. That's pretty good. That at least shows that you can be a fourth line wing if he adjusts to the game well enough. And obviously, that's about the bar expectation. I'm not going to go out here and say that he's a third line, like monster, big wing, like steel of a guy. No, I'm not going to get that crazy about it. But he's definitely a good person to come in and play over probably someone in the AHL that they have right now. The next stats that I really wanted to show you guys was Jack Drury. And Jack Drury, this entire picture gives you an idea of why I personally and the management in general feel so strongly about Jack Drury. Jack Drury has a lot of potential as a player. You can see I left that 2017-18 season in for you because that's his draft year. He was the captain of his team. He was over a point per game in the USHL, played well into double NCA, played in the Swedish Hockey League, which is fun, I guess, and played well there too. And you can see in the AHL, he also played fairly well in there too and was made an alternate captain. Very high praise. When he gets in the NHL, bit of a logjam at center for the Carolina Hurricanes, and it was the same for the Avs when he came here, surprisingly enough. He was relegated to a fourth-line center role, and he was elite as a fourth-line center. And an elite fourth-line center, I believe, can be a good third-line center. So I really want to see what Jack Drury can do, especially if the Avs trade for, I don't know, Evan Rodriguez, as we've talked about before. Put him next to Jack Drury. That's two great wings next to him. See what the kid can do. Now, let's actually take a look at the defense and the goaltending. I've said before, the goaltending is going to be one of the best tandems in the league. Blackwood is starting year one of his 5-year contract. He is here to stay. I'm not going to say that he's like a top 3 goalie, that he belongs in there with like the Vasilevskis of the world. But he's a good stabilizing presence in net. He's solid. I think he's probably has the potential to be as good as Darcy Kuemper. I know you guys might be saying, oh, he's already better than Darcy Kuemper. Kuemper had a very long and good career. So Blackwood is the one that needs to prove himself a little bit more. It's definitely going to be a gut check for him. He's going to be the full-time trusted goalie of a contending team. He's no longer going to be on the Sharks, coming in to save the Avs. No, he is now the guy. You are the person everyone is comparing themselves to. So hopefully Blackwood does well. I think he can be great. I think he can be a top 5 goaltender in this league. And he's got Scott Wedgwood right behind him. And the best thing about Wedgwood and Blackwood, they're just great guys in general. They're great locker room guys. They're much more vocal. They're always helping out and chirping on the bench. You look at Georgiev and Annunen, and as good as those guys were, like the reports I've heard, they were nice guys. I've also heard reports that they were some odd ducks. They were kind of quiet. They would keep to themselves. So it's good to have some 2 vocal goalies on the bench or just in front of the net helping out the team. You look at this defense, and really, you see Brett Burns and Josh Manson are probably going to be fighting for that second spot on the second pair. Really, on the right side, there's obviously a logjam on the right side. That's why Sam Malinsky has to move over. If I look at a guy who's probably the odd man out on this roster, I would have said it was Josh Manson, but then he got re-signed. So now I would most likely say that it's either Sam Malinsky, which I wouldn't say so because the Avs seem to really like him. So I would say it's probably Sam Girard. Probably the issues I have with Sam Girard are he's just not a playoff performer. He hasn't contributed anything meaningful in any playoff series you've ever been in. He got injured in the Cup run, wasn't there when the chips were down. He just kind of isn't the best playoff performer at all. And he's kind of the opposite of Josh Manson, where I don't really like him in the regular season, but I love him in the playoffs. So it's really a situation where I think you can get a lot more value out of Sam Girard when you trade for him. And I would probably rather have a $3.5 million AAV defenseman. I would have loved, what's his name? Nate Schmidt in Sam Girard's spot. Obviously, he's more of a bottom pairing defenseman, but get me a guy who can play decent defense, who's of good size, can actually defend in front of his own net, and gives you some offense in the playoffs. I would take that every day over Sam Girard, which gives you nothing in the playoffs. So it's really a situation where that's kind of the only hole you have in the defense. And the entire point of this episode was to show you, yes, the Avs have holes. Yes, I'd like them to do more. But really, you look at the main structural foundations of this roster, and it's good. There's not a whole lot to complain about. I am super excited to get this season started. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one.